Thank you for watching videos by Jeff Sibelius and LandAndAirPhotos.com. Are you a hobbyist drone pilot? Did you know the rules for flying around major airports have changed for recreational drone pilots, and in some ways they've actually gotten better? Let's talk through current requirements for recreational drone pilots. Over the past year, we've gone through a variety of changes covering registration and getting permission to fly around airports. Some of the changes are good news for you recreational drone pilots, but they weren't well publicized, so you may not know about them. Before making this video, I talked through the current requirements for recreational pilots with a very helpful agent from the FAA's North Texas Flight Safety District Office, or FSDO, who explained all the latest rules and policies, and that's what I'm going to pass along to you today. Here are current rules for recreational drone operators in late 2019. Register your drone and put the registration number on the outside of the drone and carry proof of registration with you. Fly only for recreational purposes, not commercially. Follow the safety guidelines of a community-based organization. Unfortunately, the only recognized community-based organization is the AMA. Hopefully someone will establish a group for drone operators in the future. Keep your drone within the visual line of sight or use a visual observer. Give way and do not interfere with any manned aircraft. Fly at or below 400 feet in uncontrolled airspace. Comply with all airspace restrictions. Pass an aeronautical knowledge and safety test and carry proof of passing the test with you. Aha, did you know that one? The test is actually still being developed, so you don't need to take the test yet. Finally, get prior authorization before operating in controlled airspace. Now, this last one is where the changes have occurred that you may not be aware of. If you remember last year, I did a video on 5 reasons why you should get your Part 107 certification. If you haven't seen it, follow the link in the upper right corner to watch it. It explains some things about airspace that you'll find very helpful. In that video, one of the reasons why I said you should get your Part 107 is because you can apply to operate in controlled airspace. Typically, that means airspace within a few miles of an airport, using the FAA's LAANC system. LAANC stands for Low Altitude Authorization and Notification Capability. And with LAANC, you can apply to fly in many areas of controlled airspace online for free and get approval to fly by text message in a matter of moments. Originally, LAANC was not available to hobby drone operators. Hobby flyers had to call the airports and get permission from airport managers or control towers, which was a royal pain in the butt for drone guys and the airport operators. Earlier this year, the FAA essentially told control towers not to grant permission to anyone who called, so that meant recreational flyers could not fly around major airports in the United States. When that happened, most of us figured that sooner or later, LAANC would become available to hobbyists. And sure enough, that's what's happened. Several weeks ago, the FAA changed the rules and opened the LAANC system to hobby pilots. You can go to one of several websites, kittyhawk.io or airmap.io for example, and request authorization to fly at a certain location and time. You request a maximum altitude based on what the FAA allows for your flight location. It might be 50 feet or 200 feet or 400 feet. It just depends on what the FAA has determined is safe for drone operations at that specific location. You fill out the forms and submit, and normally in a matter of a minute or two, you get a text message with your authorization to fly. Now that's great news for hobby pilots. You can fly legally around many of the biggest airports in the country. There are 691 airports using the LAANC system. These range from the largest airports like Dallas-Fort Worth International, all the way down to smaller airports with control towers like Addison Airport in Addison, Texas. It's fast, it's easy, it's free, and it's open to you hobbyists. So that means you don't have any reason to get your Part 107 anymore as long as you don't plan to fly for money, right? Not so fast. Okay, different sizes of airports have different categories of requirements to use the airspace. Big ones like Orlando International in Florida are classified as Class B. Slightly smaller airports like Moline Airport in Illinois are classified as Class C. Smaller airports than that, like Addison Airport, are Class D. They all have control towers. Then you have tons and tons of municipal airports and smaller airfields that don't have towers. These are Class E. Remember I said there were 691 airports in the LAANC system. That includes many of the Class B, C, or D airports in the U.S., and you as a hobbyist can request authorization to fly around those airports using LAANC. That's a big new benefit for you. But there are hundreds, thousands of areas of Class E airspace surrounding the smaller airfields. Hobbyists can't request FAA clearance for those. Remember, LAANC was originally designed for commercially licensed drone operators to use. Commercial operators do not need permission to fly in typical Class E airspace. There are some instances called Surface E where you do need permission, but those are pretty uncommon. The restrictions for hobby pilots haven't changed for Class E airspace. That means hobby pilots must still get permission from the smaller airports to fly within 5 miles. For these situations, hobby pilots must call the airport managers to coordinate their flights. These small airports don't have a control tower, and the FAA wouldn't want you calling them even if they did. So, how do you find out about these airports? You look on airmap.io or kittyhawk.io. Find where you want to fly. If it has one of those orange circles, a Class E airfield is close by. If you click on the circle, the name of the airfield should appear, and in most cases, a phone number. If it doesn't show a phone number, you need to look up the number for the airfield online so you can call them. So, that's the catch. LAANC opens up a lot of opportunity to hobbyists to fly legally, which is great. But you still need to call the smaller airfields to get permission to fly within 5 miles. And that means your best and easiest opportunity to fly legally is still to get your Part 107. The other advantages of getting the Part 107 are still there as well. You can sell your video and photos. You'll be a better, smarter pilot. You get a cool ID that impresses chicks in bars. And even though LAANC offers some relief to hobby pilots, having that Part 107 still gives you the maximum opportunity to fly within the law. Thank you for watching this video. I set up a Facebook group to make it easier for us to talk and arrange opportunities to fly together. Follow the link in the description below to sign up for the group. On screen you'll find links to more videos on how to fly drones, so please check them out. Before you go, be sure to hit the like button. Also, subscribe to this channel so you know when more videos are released. Thanks for watching.